like, you want this to last forever. So it's like, obviously you try to, like you say, burn it quick. Where you're like, okay, I need to get it to fill it. But it's like, you want it to be sustainable. You building this for forever. So it takes time, it's genuine.
Welcome to A Dope Conversation, the podcast where entrepreneurs, creatives, and innovators share their journeys, the struggles, the wins, and everything in between as they build meaningful businesses. Hosted by Jake Wagner, marketer, photographer, and entrepreneur, this is a space for raw, unfiltered conversations with people forging their own paths. From success stories to hard-earned lessons, we keep it raw, real, and always dope. So let's get into it. This is A Dope Conversation. You started talking about entrepreneurship like and using Nipsey Hussle as an example.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the guy.
Yeah.
Because Nipsey Hussle, like, to me, is I remember when I left my job, it was him on repeat all the time.
Nonstop.
Because he was like, just everything he's about was core to who I wanted to be as an entrepreneur.
For sure.
And it's still to this day, like, he's in my Spotify. He's always at the top. Always at the top, just because the message he preaches and in terms of bringing things back to your community and just he is, to me, like, the guy.
No, and that's one of the things where it was like his music, because he West Coast, and it'd be like some stick out to me where it'd be like, okay, cool, I got that one going. Double Up is one of them where it'd be like, you keep them going. But it was like, by far, as like him as a character and person and stuff like that, I was just like, oh yeah, he definitely him. Like, the balance between being authentically you and still being able to push and grow forward. It was like, he definitely, like you say, epitome of making that transition and growing naturally, and then just being your own self in this space. So I rock with bro. 7
days a week was literally my anthem. Because when I first started, I mean, my entire mentality was like, by any means necessary, like, grind it out every day. Grind it. And
figuring it out.
To an extent, like, I still work. I mean, I'm probably like a 6 day a week, but honestly, I'm trying to scale back a little bit. I'm getting tired.
Man,
but using him as an example, it's like, all right, understanding this is a marathon, this don't have to be accomplished by a certain time, so set your pace, get your pace right.
Man, look, that's the thing I'll be talking with people about a lot, is like, you want this to last forever. So it's like, obviously you try to, like you say, burn it quick, where you're like, okay, I need to get it to fill it. But it's like, you want it to be sustainable. Coke and all that wasn't built one lifetime. Like, that's, you know what I mean? You're building this for forever. So it takes time, it's genuine, learn as you go. But that feeling of just like, I gotta get it now. I'll be like, I feel it, bro. I get it.
And I think there's always a place for, like, all right, 10 toes down, stay in this, like, this is what you do. But, as I continue in my journey, I understand, like, one, there's other things that in life that you just got to pay attention to and be more present in. And you can still do that and build something the way you want to.
Exactly.
Just finding. I don't like saying the word balance too much, but I guess it is that essentially.
Man, it get cliche for sure.
It
just keep throwing it, but it do, man. And I gotta. I was just looking at the values on the business page, and then it's like work-life balances in there, and then it's like, what it mean to me is so much more than what it, like, is typically meant. Like you said, dropping the kids off and all that for school, that stuff is huge for me, where I'm like, you know what I mean? That's everything. So balance ain't really the word, but it's just investing it, and, you know what I mean, into the other things, and being able to still do something you love. Like,
Hey, Tevyn Grayson, appreciate you, man. Thank you for having us.
No, man, I appreciate you. You got to see the space, man, before the open house.
Yeah, this is dope. Oh yeah, dude. Oh, I'm gonna be at the open house. Man, I saw 2 weeks ago.
He said, "Oh yeah, man, I've been here."
I've been here. Nah, I got an office. No, man, no, for real. Tevyn Grayson, owner of Grayson Accounting Services. Want to make sure I got that correct.
That's correct. That's
right,
Grayson
man.
Accounting Service. Yep.
So tell me a little bit about yourself and about your business and just kind of who you are, man. What should the people know?
Man, I think, so obviously, like you said, the business is trying to help people with finances, make sure they understand the numbers of the business and what it's doing, what profitability look like, things like that. But for me, it's becoming more apparent and clear where it's like I just like to help. And it's not in like the typical sense of helping. It's just like trying to teach and walk you through, you know what I mean, the process. And that's always been a thing since I was little, man, of just trying to, like I said, get the person, little quiet kid. I was always cool with the quiet kids because I was one for myself. Yeah. So it was like trying to find that balance of just breaking out the best in somebody. And so, yeah, that's me. It's like I try to just, like I say, help people however I can, man.
Yeah, were you naturally inclined with like numbers and math, or was that something, I guess, how did you kind of like learn accounting?
Yeah, so it's actually, it started, so like third grade, I can remember that specifically. I was at Northside Prep. I don't know if people remember that one. That was over on Park Street over there. I can remember at a certain point where I was like, I'm pretty good at this math stuff. Like, I just like it. And a lot of people was complaining about it. And so I was like, okay. Then it kind of kept getting affirmations from like school teachers and stuff like that. And so around like 8th, 9th grade, that's when I knew I liked math. And then started to see like the algebra when the letters and stuff start coming in. Yeah. I was a little different. And I was like, oh, okay, like this is cool. But I like straightforward math. And so I found accounting in the 10th grade and it just clicked. Like the accounting principles, the practice, the theories, like it all started to click. And from there, that's where I seen the value in it as it relate to like business, and knew that I had like a little, you know what I mean? A little pocket that has some demand. And I was just like, okay, let me lean into that a little bit more, refine it, see what it looked like. Early on, I wanted to be a personal banker. That was the thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the goal to have like a corner office in like Chicago or something.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. So like, and then how did you get formally educated in accounting?
Yep. And so,
or was it formal? I don't even
know. It was. And that was the part that was crazy too. Cause like I said, 10th grade, I found it and it was like, it clicked and I started taking just more stuff in high school. And then it wasn't a lot of classes. I will say that was like leaning into finance, leaning into just a regular business approach. And so I was then afforded the ability to dual enroll in my senior year. That was from the Promise. And then around that time, that's when people started pushing it in that junior, senior. And so I went to Valley and so started to, like I say, take some classes out there. And then that's when I really was like, oh, like this is really my thing. And so when I went there fully, got more into it, teachers was super, super cool. Mentors and things like that, they was pushing me. And then that's what, like I said, fueled the understanding of it. And then graduated from there 2015, and then leaned more into like the real world side of like using accounting. Did a whole bunch of different jobs relating to just like finances and profits, stuff like that. And then at 2020, that's when I was like, oh, okay, now it's time to, everybody else doing their business thing. Let me help get out here too. So yeah, it kind of all synced up, and I'm actually going to school now too for at Phoenix, University of Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you doing there? What are you studying?
So I got my associates in accounting, so I'm going for my bachelor's, ultimately my master's, so I can get my CPA.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
That makes sense. So I think that might be a misconception too. I think a lot of people think like to have a career in accounting or something like that, you need to be a CPA, but that's not exactly the case, right?
Right. Yeah, it's because there's different levels of it, and I think that's one of the things I talk through with clients too, is like trying to see the value in like what skill set in particular. So obviously, like the administrative bookkeeping side of it, you just have to be good at data entry and kind of like attention to detail.
Yeah.
So you will see at some companies, they'll have a bookkeeper that may have, like some business administration degree or something, but are super like detail oriented, organized, things like that. And they'll stay in that role for 20 years or something.
Yeah.
So it's that's bookkeeping in terms of just the data entry. But then there's the accounting side where I fall in terms of analyzing the reports and interpreting the data and seeing what it actually means.
Yeah.
Using like the, equations and things like that, debt to equity, to really tell the owner, like this is what these figures are representing from the business activity. And then you have the CPA, who's the licensed like tax professional, auditor, things like that. And so that's where they will review finances in a more thorough way sometimes. And like I said, make those recommendations to say like, okay, you are in regulation or not. This is things you need to adjust based on industry, stuff like that. So it's essentially those three kind of categories are the big ones. But obviously there's like, certified business, I think administrator, things like that, where it's like controllers for like logistics and warehouse operations, stuff like that. So it get deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's levels to it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm thankful for myself, for my business at least. My bookkeeping is just like very simple. Like one, everything's pretty much automated.
Yep.
But two, there's just not like a lot of transactions that like you could fall behind real quick.
Yep.
But I'm super thankful that I studied marketing, but I had to take accounting classes. Yeah. And just that basic knowledge was so crucial to me. Man. Because it puts me in a place where I can at least understand the basics, at least understand basic fundamentals around like, and even like when it comes to taxes, like what I can and can't write off. And that was crucial. So maybe they should do that. I think most business programs do it, but like everyone should take an accounting course or something, or like even an online version of it, just to get those basics.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing, man. For us, where it's like that sweet spot, because I focus on startup businesses like 1 to 5 years, and it's in theory. So sometimes you may have a business that you've been running for a long time, but you haven't put it into like the EIN LLC, do the documents to kind of get it certified, filing like your Schedule Cs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So you may have done it like routinely where people know you as the person that's like cooking or selling shirts or something like that. And so to me, that's still one, you know what I mean? Like still startup in the sense of like, we got to get the documents together, get you certified, things like that.
Legitimize it.
Exactly. And then that 2 to 3 is where we kind of standardize in sales and just processes and stuff like that. So may get you a POS system, get some partners, like, you know what I mean, to make your profit a little bit better. And so that range, like I said, we do a lot more work there because that's where it's a lot more transactions. Yeah. And then that 4 to 5 years is when we looking to try to scale. So sometimes, people may have done the other things, but it's like, now how do we make this a business where you can now get W-2s or, you know what I mean? We get a retirement plan, things like that. So try to help in those frameworks. But the big thing is like coming in, I try to explain to people, I'm like, at the very least, if you at least understand what you're looking at, it'll help tremendously to even ask somebody clearly what you need from them. You know what I mean? To just be like, instead of giving them the reports or giving them the financials and then they just make the adjustments. It's like, no, you need to know what they changed, why they did it, what depreciation is, goodwill, things like that. So I think everybody need it, but you need somebody that it connects with, because it's a lot of trust that goes into finances, man. It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we've all heard stories of, I think, was it Rihanna's account or something like, like,
so they looked at them numbers.
And it's like, that's Rihanna, right? Yeah. She's up here. Yeah. But that it probably happens more at levels of just like everyday human beings and smaller solopreneurs and stuff like that. Yeah. Finances is not, that's not the place where you want to mess up with people.
Man, and it's like that's what they do is you gotta be honest, because it's like, say that same bookkeeper that, like I said, was doing it 10, 15 years. Obviously, they pick some stuff up, you know what I mean? Yeah. But you got to be honest when you're out of your depths, where it's like, okay, I haven't done this, or you should get somebody else in for this, like that kind of thing. And that's where the integrity piece for me comes in, where I tell people like, hey, I'm still starting, still early, haven't been in this industry. And because I don't want to make that mistake and then it fall on us in terms of like, this mispayment or this that type of thing. So,
I hear you. I think you mentioned something about how everyone was starting businesses in 2020.
Man, pandemic.
Yeah. So I started my business in 2019. Like that's when we officially started.
Okay.
So I beat the curve like
You
just
did.
slightly.
You did.
but take me back to 2020 and more so kind of like what particular need did you see at that time? Was it a matter of everyone starting a business and maybe just not, just needing someone who could provide bookkeeping and accounting services? But two, tell me, I think that was an interesting time for people starting businesses in general because I'll just say there was a lot of stuff out there that
a lot going on.
A lot of people followed. And
exactly.
Probably put them in not the greatest of situations.
For sure.
So that's a loaded question. So just start about with like what need did you see at the time?
For sure. And that kind of go back to where I originally, like I said, when I found accounting and I seen the niche and the demand is a lot of people got the hustle gene, the entrepreneur gene, like they want to make something out of nothing. But then what I realized is one, it's a difference between doing one thing great and doing a lot of things where it's like, okay. And so trying to help people to focus in was always like a thing that I saw as a need. And so in 2020, that's where people were starting to turn those hobbies into professions and real-time jobs and careers. And so from that's where the need increased. And people could see the value, or they just took that leap of faith. They had the free time. So both of those things kind of just came into play for me where I'm like, okay, now people are doing it. I think the need will be there a lot more to like learn stuff. And I felt I was in a position to do it. That was another piece of like trying to get the experience to match the education. Because otherwise I'm like, what do you know? Like, why would I listen to you?
Yeah.
So I wanted to kind of get that going. And so, that's what helped me to, like I said, take the leap as everybody else was taking the same leap. I seen that need. And then, like you said, the Timon had a lot of money out in the world. It was a lot of stimulus out there.
Yeah.
And so what it turned into from my side of it was seeing people with money that they didn't know what to do with. And in that sense, even as consumers have more money, so vendors, producers, they have more opportunity to get money. And then that's the spot where just try to, like I say, help them legitimize, worked a lot with like startup businesses to, like I said, get the EIN, the LLCs, things like that. So it just kind of synced up perfectly where it was like, oh, money out, people taking that chance.
Yeah.
I got a little experience to, kind of get it going. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
I bought me with the unemployment, I got my first laptop, man.
Oh, okay.
Got the little 1,200. I got a laptop for $6. I bought business cards for maybe $100 and I was good. I was gone.
Yeah. Just like that.
Man. Yeah. I remember the first little logo I had too, man. It was super basic. It was like GAS with like the blocks between them. I was like, okay, we real now.
That's right. Yeah. That's a fun time in entrepreneurship. I think when you're just like developing, like you're just getting started, right? You got all this energy in the world because you're creating this new thing.
Yeah.
And then I think I believe there's a phase where it's like you get into the thick of it, and it's like, that little logo. That logo.
Fun no more,
you know what I mean? Yeah. It's not logos and hype. It's like real.
Yeah. So
when was the point in which your business, because I believe, if I remember correctly, I think you went full time into it fairly quickly.
For sure. And so got the DBA. This was August 2020. And then started just shopping around in terms of like contracts and things like that, trying to find, like I said, my niche and stuff. And so was able to get a contract through Kalamazoo.
Oh, okay.
And then they did a loan program where they were helping small businesses get prepared to get a loan.
Okay.
And so that role kind of put me in a spot where it was like, okay, this is enough of what I'm making to, like I said, take that leap. And so in 2021, around like October, nope, I think it was a little earlier. It was around like September 2021. That's when I went full time.
Okay.
And then from there, it was kind of the combination of the freedom to now move around a little bit more. And then two, the security of like that role, and then where it kind of plugged me into business life cycles. And so it was like from there, I was like, okay, yeah, we can make it happen. It's funny too. I remember when we was at Studio Grill.
Yeah.
That was right at that point where I was like, yeah, it ain't fun right now. Man. Yeah. It's not fun right now. Yeah, but you got through to the other side, man.
That's the thing, man. I talk about that a lot. I think on this podcast, I'm really real about like just all the not fun things that come with it. Yeah. And sometimes people get worried about me, or they think like, oh man, I think Jake's maybe having a moment right now. It's like, yeah, I'm having a moment. Yes. But I want to make that very clear. Like, for every high, there's an equal low. Oh, man. You know, so like, and sometimes, especially when you're scaling.
Oh, man.
Problems on problems on problems.
Exactly.
And that's, I think, where it really kicks in. And I think this year has been that year for me. Like, we've been doing really well and growing. And, but at times I see, okay, we're not ready for that growth. And then I'm like, okay, well, let's get things in place to be ready for that.
Exactly.
And then getting those things in place sometimes has headaches of itself. And then it's like, all right, when does this stabilize? It's just like, I never know. But no, it's real, man. Entrepreneurship is not. Yeah, so if you listen to this and you're worried about me, I'm fine. but
they just called me when I needed to vent, man. Get it out.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just a lot going, man. Yeah,
no, for sure.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about that and like what your journey has been like these past 5 years.
Yeah, man, it was like I said. So when I first went full time, obviously, like you said, the excitement, things like that, was super high. Where I'm like, man, like I'm doing this, and people around me was super motivated just from hearing like my journey and stuff. So that positive energy was it was flowing. And then it got to the point, I think around like summer 2022, where things picked up quicker than I was ready for. So it left me in the spot where like it was some disappointed clients, things like that. And so that weighed on you, because now you think like, oh, like it's over. Like, you know what I mean? That quick. You get a couple complaints and things like that. You're like, oh man, like I'm finna lose everything. My reputation is tarnished. Like, and so for the rest of the year, it was kind of still just stabilizing, getting things going, doing the hustle work, trying to, like you said, legitimize website and get my marketing and branding all lined up. And, even to like my onboarding, I think that was a big thing for us. Yeah. Is trying to figure out how we get somebody from, conversation into us being fully like committed and contracts and accesses to the things we need, stuff like that. So we had a couple clients where, again, we get like a project and that'll fall through. So end of 2022, early 23 was more statements of work, where I was getting a lot of legal stuff with the lawyers. Yeah. And then it felt like, okay, now I'm ready. Like this summer, I'm expecting a big jump again. And
that's right.
Then that didn't happen. So I was like, oh, like this is tough. And then cash flow in terms of like service industry, it's like cash flow is always a thing. So was in that spot. Like I said, 2023 is when we moved into our old location. Mm-hmm. So in that spot, I'm thinking like I need something to legitimize, like I said, more for our in-person meetings, because I was just going around meeting people where they were. And I'm like, let me get something that's centralized, it's downtown, so it'll feel good, strategic move. Yeah. And again, I was up again. I was like, yep. We moved into a location, got the buzz from Facebook posts and things like that. And that carried me to the spot to where I was able to get people like part-time people, some bookkeeper, admin, and then was deeper into, like I said, the contract conversations, statements of work, kind of getting those more dialed in. I knew like what the process looked like. But then it was the training somebody to do what I did and trying to put a value and a stop on that task. Yep. That's where it was like another hurdle. Yeah. Money going out, paying payroll regularly. Yep. But again, the cash flow wasn't there. And so started to get like some loans just to stabilize. And 24 was when that whole year I'm like, okay, let me get all of these things together. Payroll, get our onboarding. Took me a minute still to find somebody that can support with the role. So I was trying, there was a couple hire, leave, that type of thing. And then, middle of 24 was when it was like, okay, I think I got to pivot again. I'm thinking it's like, I got to find a way to, like I said, get more profit or more cash flow from these services. And so doing like rate increases, stuff like that. And in that space, that's where it was like, okay, now we comfortable. We starting to see some returns. And then 25, beginning of this year, was when I was like, okay, let's do one more loan to kind of, like I said, get all of these things ready. I think I know how to onboard. I know how to delegate these tasks. I'm ready for the space to get more clientele in, ready to get my market bigger. So I was just Kalamazoo for the most part.
Yeah.
And then, we got here, man. We got here.
It's a blessing.
I'm telling you, man, it felt good, man. And that's the spot too where I'm like, I'm excited because it felt like I came a long way, but I know it's still like, this is really the beginning of it where it's like, oh, like, no, like we legit, like, man, I got a 401k for myself.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah.
And insurance. I got insurance through my business, man. It was, I can't express that enough.
Yeah. That's actually what made me reach out to you, is that I saw you recently accomplished a major milestone that I think a lot of entrepreneurs hope to accomplish. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. And first off, there's always that discrepancy between like the 1099 contract pay and the payroll kind of W-2 and how that all work and the setup from businesses. And so in 2023, that's when I started the plan to position myself as like me, the employee, as well as the owner, kind of like having those move together. And like I said, had to figure out like, okay, what can I pay somebody consistently to know that I got the cash to pay myself consistently, and figuring all that out. And so when we got payroll established in 23, I'm like, okay, let me see 24, see the whole year, see how that go. And then make sure on my personal finance side that I'm in a spot where it's like, okay, this is enough where I can live off of this. And like I said, go through all of the ebbs and flows and things like that. And it was pretty good. Like it wasn't, you know what I mean? It didn't come without struggles, but it felt good. And so then in this year, like I said, when I was like, okay, I think it's time to scale. So I need these perks to attract talent, like to retain and attract talent. And then as well as for myself, it's like I ain't young no more. Yeah. So I'm like, I gotta be able to, you know what I mean? I go to hospital, man, break my leg, it'd be over with. That bill, that's it. And then you think of it too, like even something simple, playing basketball. I mess around, break my wrist. That's my money. You know what I mean? Like I can't type and work and man. So that's where the urgency was for me at 32. I'm like, I need insurance. Yeah. And then the kids, it's like I got a retirement for them, like trust accounts and stuff like that set up for them. But in terms of something I'm regularly putting something in, I was like, I need it because, you know, again, I want to do this for a long time, but I can't do it forever. And it was like, figured it all out, got the payroll stuff set up. And like I said, it was just positioning the funding and making sure strategically it made sense. And it came together. So it was a simple moment in terms of it's like, oh yeah, I got payroll, you know, I got that out there. But for me, it was so much work behind the scenes. Yeah, man, it was like, I couldn't stop smiling. I bet. So are you structured as an S corp? Would that be correct? Okay,
yep. Cool. I know a thing or two.
Yeah, I know a thing you on it, man.
I don't know 3, but I know 2. Yeah, man, that's cool. I view that as my next step. Yep. For sure. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because this year I started taking on, I've contracted people on like project basis in the past. Yep. This year, I kind of hit a point it was in the middle of the year really, where I was like, okay, I can't do this going forward without people anymore. Yeah. I'll burn out. Yeah. I won't even make it.
Get there, man.
Yeah. So, it was interesting. I try to, and you mentioned like you had to, you know, bump your prices up and do all those things to make sure it was sustainable. Usually I try to bump my prices up once a year at the beginning of the year. Just, you know, it makes sense. This year we actually had to do it twice. We had to.
Yeah.
I had no choice.
Listen, demand is up, man.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, people still book, and thankfully there was no like lull and like, it's a little too high. It was just like,
you expect it, man. It's like it come with it.
Yeah. But I recently have been, I've recently gotten to the point where the post-production part, the editing, which is the most time-consuming thing that I do, I outsourced those processes.
Got it.
Still on contract basis.
Yep.
So it's still project based, but it's every project. So it's continuous. You know, I know the IRS has their, they determine what is an employee. I don't know if like I'll get to that point, but but to the point where it's like, all right, I hire out pretty much every editing process now. And it's an interesting experience because I think when you take your finger off of a process or a thing that you do, I don't know, like there's a ton that comes with it. It's one, it's like, okay, is it going to be done better than I do it? Is it going to be something I don't have to worry about? How do I teach it in a way that's effective? And then like systematizing and documenting processes becomes a thing. And it's all these things where I'm just like, okay. It's not just in my head. Like as soon as it made sense financially, I was just like, oh, we'll just put it into play, right? Like it'll just happen. Yeah. It's not that. It's not that seamless. So what did it look like for you to add people to your team and really get them in a place where they can succeed so that you as a business owner can take your mind off it and focus on some of those things that you have to do to grow the business?
Yeah, I think, man, it's crazy because so the first person I ended up hiring to work with me was Todd. And so he was retired. I met him at another job I was working at, hired him as a cashier, but I was finance and HR manager at the time. So when I seen his resume and he had, 30 years of accounting experience, I'm like, what? Like, and so at that point, that's when the kind of, for me, like the relationship established where I'm like, oh man, like, I'm trying to learn from him, things like that. Yeah. And we built the rapport then. So when I shifted, I think this was late 2022. Like I said, I had some customer, client, things like that, some errors. I made a post where I was just like, look, man, I'm learning. Like I can accept the accountability. Just let me know. And that type of thing. Yeah. And so he followed up where he like, hey man, we need to talk for a quick second. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And then he offered up the support. We like, man, look, whatever I can do to help, like let me, kind of come on board and then help with that. So that was like my first employee. And he was tremendous in terms of one, knowing all of the things, but then two, he was retired, so it wasn't like a huge burden in terms of payroll. And so that was like, man, that made the business to what it is to this day because he helped me in like one, understanding the firm's position in the service because I did like accounting for businesses. So I knew like, again, the bookkeeping and accounting processes as it relates to one individual organization. But he kind of helped frame my mind where it's like, no, this is how you look at it when you do this as a service for a lot of people. And so I'm like, oh, okay. So that helped immensely just to bounce that off. Mentors can't be stressed enough of like the value of that. And then, the timing around 23, end of 23 was when like I said, I first started trying to hire a bookkeeper and an admin, like an assistant. And so in that space, it was trying to find like, okay, what makes the most sense to do? Because our clients, most of them are nonprofits or small businesses, so they don't have their process together. So we're creating it with them. And I get it, but it was like trying to give that information to somebody else or the follow-ups, what that looked like. It was a struggle, man. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it's just the hard skills instead of the soft skills. Cause I was thinking like between those two, like which one makes more of a difference? So I'm like, let's go soft skills first and then think I can teach the hard. And I was like, didn't work out. So I was like, okay, let's go hard skills and then see if I can teach soft. And then it was like, that didn't work out. So I was like, okay, so it's somewhere in between there, but it's also, like I said, that onboarding process to getting the documents, knowing who you talking to, knowing how to hold us accountable, what expectations you need, what our deliverables are, Because a lot of times we'll do categorization to catch up like a year or, you know, like you said, a couple transactions. We can get that done in a couple hours, even though it's a few months, because we know what we're looking for, things like that. But in that same setup is not seen to the owner because you moving around, working, you know, those type of things. And so it's trying to find like, what's the value added to the owner? And early on, it was for me, it was still soft skills, like the ability to talk through the process with somebody. And then I will give like next steps, like, okay, give me this, give me this, give me this. And we'll, you know, we can move the needle. But it started to run into the issue specifically with like for-profits of where they didn't see the value. They didn't feel it. Like day-to-day things were still a struggle. Cash flow was still a struggle. The process for accounts payable was still a struggle. And so it's like, man, so what are we paying you for? And I'm like, no, like, listen, we did a lot, but I'm focused more in like the bookkeeping side to make sure like your reports are accurate. So if you go for funding, it looks like what the business is doing. Your equity in the business is accurate, making sure we get all of the assets there. And they're like, yeah, that's cool, but that didn't move the needle to what I'm doing. And so with that, I knew like, okay, that's something I specifically have to do in terms of the back end, like I said, adjustments and things like that, the conversations. But I knew like, okay, I can have someone do the categorization, the transactions daily, the reporting, elevate the level of reporting as opposed to just sending off a bunch of different PDFs. Like, let's get this into one document and things like that. So had to create, like I said, some SOPs, man, standard operating procedures of like what to expect, what data entry looked like, had to standardize what folders and things like that looks like. And from there, it was easier to, when I knew that that's what I had to do, it was easier to get somebody in that role and then hire Daisy, who's phenomenal now. And it was like perfect. Once you know what you're looking for, you know what you're going to do, you know what to ask of somebody. And then it's easier to bring somebody in and be like, oh, now you know, it flows like that. So it took a long process though, man. Like I said, 2022 is when it started. And then it ultimately got there this year. Like I said, first full-time employee. That's not myself.
Yeah.
Man.
It's crazy, man.
Who you telling?
I'm glad that you mentioned the mistakes with customers.
Yeah.
Because that happens. Yeah. That this year in particular, I mean, we've had the most, I mean, our business has been super successful. Yeah. We've also made the most mistakes. Yeah. like the two are correlated. For sure. I think it's just, as an entrepreneur, I just learn this, like, and I just accept this as I go. But I'm like, you're going to make mistakes.
For sure.
It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Absolutely.
It's more so how you bounce back from those mistakes. It's can you make it up to the customer to the point where they, you know, they feel good with where things stand, or you right your wrong, or or whatever the case is. And I think I just think it's super important to lift that up because it's impossible to be perfect, man. Especially when you're striving for something big.
And that's the part where it hurts, because not only, like, again, this is finance, this is accounting, IRS is involved, things like that. Like that's a lot of anxiety for somebody who don't know, and then they're putting the trust in us. Yeah. So it's like that relationship is already like a fiduciary responsibility, where it's like it's a little bigger, you know. Yeah. And for us to drop the ball in there, that's where I was like, man, that's everything. Like, you know what I mean? How can somebody trust us if we let down this client? And so it took a lot in terms of like that initial post when I was like, yep, we make mistakes. Like, just let me know and we can grow from it. Like, again, I have an associates. I'm still learning. I'm also new to the business. So it was like trying to get out in front of it. And, you know, some people aren't going to give you a second chance. And it's still being in a position to like respectfully say, like, I understand your position and I hope the best for you. Yeah. Anything I can do to still support, like I want to. And like I said, sometimes you just got to take it on the chin. Yeah. But like you said, it's adjusting for the next client and making sure it's like, okay, learn from that. Like, yep, Now we got contracts, so we know what we are looking for.
Yeah.
Learn from that. Now we have deliverable dates of like, we'll have it to you by this date.
Yep.
Learn from that. Now we have a robust reporting process that shows exactly what we did and show the things that's still out of our control. Because sometimes in accounting, it's like, I got to send you a request to get XYZ. Say you get a loan that I didn't know about. Yeah. It's like, I got to follow up like, hey, can you send me the original loan documents? Because we need that to be able to add it into the system.
Yeah.
Catch everything up. So it's like a lot of that waiting game in between. And it's different when we're not in the same building or same location.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like I said, that's where learning from each of those mistakes is what got me into this spot now where I feel more comfortable, like I said, expanding our market because, expanding outside of Kalamazoo because I was born and raised here. And it's not to say that I leaned into it in a way that wasn't understanding the position, but it was obviously like more relationship and more established before the business that gave a little bit of the grace to some of those mistakes. And super, super appreciative, like I said, all of the partners that we have.
Yeah.
And that's the part for us now where I don't mind like donating a service or something like that. Cause I'm like, y'all have done a lot more to help me like get where I'm at now. And that's where, like I said, as I take this outside of Kalamazoo, I'm like, okay, I think we're ready for, like I said, what that brings. And we can establish this with a clear business relationship and then build from there kind of thing.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So what does entrepreneurship actually mean to you? Like, what is its significance in your life? And what do you think, if someone said like, yo, I want to be an entrepreneur, like what should they really be wanting to strive for in that journey? Yeah.
That's a good one, man. I think to me, it's the freedom. It's the freedom to choose, the freedom to create. I look at like artistry as the same thing, like one and the same with entrepreneurship. And there's obviously like the science or like the structural side of entrepreneurship to like make it work. But I feel like that's the thing. Like as an entrepreneur, I see it as wanting to change something, whether it's like your life, somebody else's life, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then for me as like a service provider, it was getting highly specialized in what service I provide, as opposed to selling like a product and having multiple ways that I can sell, like a different product. It's like, okay, I can get, shirts and buy these in bulk and get better at the branding side, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It was like service side for me. And so that's where it was just trying to learn as much as I can, get better at the skills of it. And I get a little down on myself too. I'm not gonna lie, man, in terms of looking at entrepreneurs that have like multiple ventures, when it's like they got the ability to, they got the Airbnbs here and then they got, like the I don't know, you sell books here and that type of thing. And I see it now on the days when I feel a lot more full and refreshed. I see it as like, okay, it's a journey. And obviously like you get to that point of where, these other ventures, you have the time for them. But like I said, it's just the freedom to be able to do that is what entrepreneurship is to me, man.
Yeah.
You choose which one you want to do. It's like, okay, I think I want to write a book now. It's like, okay, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I want to start putting my logo on shirts and I want to sell that. It's like, okay, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So it's that. And then, like you said, showing up for the other things, family and building something that they can be proud of. My kids love it. It's so funny, man. My daughter got show and tell today. And she was like, yep, I'm gonna bring the business card.
On the second day of school?
Yeah. It's fresh. Okay. I said, show me what your summer was, man.
Yeah, okay. Okay. I'm listening.
She said, she was like, yep, I wanna bring some of your business stuff. And so I was like,
oh yeah.
Yeah, I felt good, man.
Yeah.
And so she took like a business card. I had a magnet. So we had some magnets and some merch that was available for the open house. And so she was like, yep, let me take a couple of these. And I was just like, man, that's priceless. Like, what they call them now, the memories. It's like core memory.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that's it right there. Core memory. You can't take that ever.
Yeah.
Like that a moment of, you know what I mean? Seeing her proud to, say like, this my dad business, got the shirt, man, what?
Yeah.
And I'm seeing seeing it go from me at home, typing on my table to moving into that space, to moving here. It's like them being a part of this journey, man. It's like, I'm rich off that. So I'm good. I'm good.
Do you think there's like a destination you'll get to where it's like, all right, this is what we set out to? Or do you think the value is in the journey?
Yeah, the value is absolutely in the journey. Absolutely. And that's the part too, where I think people get a misconception when they think of entrepreneurship as like the monetary, where it's just like, oh yeah, I want to have, 6 incomes and be able to travel when I want to. And it's like, well, no, because you got to work a lot. Like you said, 7 days a week. Like you got to work a lot to get to that point where you have a team that know what they doing, and you got customers that trust your product, and you got, it takes a lot. Yeah. And for me, like you said, it's the journey of building that I take pride in, of like, okay, let's make sure we do the most in this area, do the most in this area. That's why like this came together beautifully, because I had my mom, who I hired her, and I was just like, yep, let's spend time on this. Let's make sure this is thought out. Yeah. Make sure the feeling of the space is inviting. I want people to have natural spots that create communication. I wanted to feel, like I said, relaxed. And it's like, yep, we're going to focus on that. When that's done, then we can shift to the next piece. Yeah. And that process is what's fulfilling for me now, is taking the time to build it and make it, like I said, make it last, man.
Yeah. I to me, like, entrepreneurship like feels like, I don't want to say game, because I don't want to like make it sound like it's something I'm playing, but like I think I look back to starting this, and 6 years later, I'm just like, dang, a lot's happened. A lot of good, a lot of maybe not so great. And it's like, but like all of those things made me to who I am today. And they give me kind of like the compass of going forward.
Absolutely.
And to that, like that's what it's about. I also, you mentioned the freedom too. I think I like that I kind of get the choice to how I spend my day. Yeah. With some exception. Yeah. And like, that's been probably the best, the most valuable thing that I've taken from it. Doing this podcast, this makes no money. This makes no financial sense. Maybe you'd be one to advise, like, hey, don't do a podcast. I got you. But it's like, this fills my cup. Yeah, exactly. Getting to talk to people like you who are doing things and starting from the ground up. And like you said, you've come so far. We come so far as people, but still, it's like, this is just the beginning. You have no idea what's ahead. I'm telling you, man. Yeah.
And that's the part that I really, really enjoy, is that piece, the connecting with people who are living in their passion. Like that, you know what I mean? It fuels me. Like, or similarly, be like, man, like I see my guy going. Like I see the, you know what I mean? The equipment growing. I seen the post you had. I was like, man, that thing clear. Yeah, I was like, my guy. Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Man.
Was that the Detroit one?
I think it was. Yeah. And, man,
fun
listen.
Time. That was a good time.
That part of it is similarly where another piece of entrepreneurship is the community of it, man, of like using the experiences of your peers and things like that to motivate you. And like you said, the energy that comes from seeing somebody in a different spot where it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's my guy. Like, I know how he got there. Now I feel like I can get there. Or similarly, it's like, you may feel down where it's like, man, why am I doing this? And it's like, man, I just got this nice client, man. I'm gonna do that, and you like, that's why, like, that energy and that passion that you get to, like you said, every day pour into that is, that priceless, man. Those things is everything.
Yeah. So for new business owners, or maybe just business owners looking to get connected to just some information, what are like some guiding principles? There's like accounting 101 that you could give to somebody in terms of, maybe it's taking on a loan, or maybe they don't have access to capital, but they have an idea that they're trying to build. Like, what are just some ideas or some guiding principles you can give them as they're on wherever they're at in the journey?
Yeah, no, and it's an interesting balance. Back to that one for me. interesting because there's a lot of stuff that's out on social media and stuff like that now of like, you can take out this loan and you can, get this line of credit and open these up. So it's a balance between explaining those things and letting people know like those exist, they're out there. But I also don't want to set somebody up for failure. Yeah. And I say that to say, you can give somebody $1 million. Like how many people won the lottery and end up broke? You know what I mean? So it's like trying to find the relationship between the access points and providing that. And I don't try to gatekeep at all, but it's making sure that, you know what I mean? I give you a well-rounded understanding of it. And so obviously you got to get your financials together. You got to get an LLC, you got to get an EIN. With those two, you can separate the bank accounts, and that at the very least positions you to do your taxes on an annual basis. Yeah. And then from there, once you have a couple years of taxes, that's when you can, hey, I need a loan. This is what I plan on doing. This is what has worked, where I see the need. This is where our weaknesses are, and this is how the loan will help me to do that. Is the basics of, you know what I mean? Once you get those things in place, you're positioned to talk to a funder, and then they'll have follow-up questions. They always do. Yeah. And then that'll either you have to answer or it'll trigger a no, but I can get it, that kind of thing. And it's just important to have that relationship though with somebody, like I said, a mentor, a trusted advisor, somebody that is either doing it or did it to be able to help you, one, be more efficient in how you go through it, but also to, like I said, point you in the right direction. Because it's oftentimes where even say like the credit repair, man, I hear people, they ask me that question, like, do you do, credit repair? And it's like, no. And I don't spend a lot of time in there either because it's nuanced. But I know what it looked like for someone who's genuinely showing up to support, because I work with people who are operating in their passion a lot. Yeah. So that's my skill, is being able to, like, again, help people where it's like, oh, okay, cool, you should talk to this person. Because I know that you're in good hands with them. Yeah. You should talk with this person. It's not to say that, you know what I mean, I bash or anything like that, but I try to make accountability clear, where it's like, this is what you should be getting from this service. Yeah. Those type of things. So those are just some of the basics, man. Yeah. Yeah. And the big thing is like follow up. And so one of the things I plan on doing is offering workshops to kind of support through that, because it's two-part from my perspective of building a relationship that continues on with the clients, the entrepreneurs, the community as a whole, fostering a new wave of entrepreneurs, but then also allowing that information exchange to flow freer, as opposed to you got to go to this one person every time to get the answer. It's like, let me teach you so you can teach them and they can teach them. Yeah. So the workshops is a thing that I plan on doing to just keep the energy flowing, give you a space to show up and support, and then also get that juice out. Because, like, again, you know how I start, man. Sometimes it's just an idea. You're like, man, I want to do this. And then it's like, man, you got to do this, 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 this. You're like, well, I want to do something a little different. Cool, let's figure it out. Yeah. And they go from there. So, yeah, trying to create that space. But stay around good people, get your documents together, and be strategic.
I like it. And if people are looking to get connected to the workshops or some of your services, or just to learn more about what you do, where can they go?
Yeah, so we got all the social media. So we got Instagram is, I want to say it's Grayson AS _. So Grayson Accounting Service, but AS _. That's the Instagram. Facebook is Grayson Accounting Service. LinkedIn is Grayson Accounting Service. And then we got our website, which is www. I just hit a www. It's grayson-accounting.com. And then got contact spaces there, or you can just reach out to me at Tevyn G at grayson-accounting.com. And then we can get the conversation flowing.
That's right. You could even go HTTPS / if you wanted to.
To the basics, man. Lay it all out. You type it out real time, man.
Yeah, just make sure the S is in there, because if not, you don't have a secure website,
Man, it's throwing you all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. No, I was playing.
No, yeah, websites, all social medias, except TikTok. I ain't got there yet. That's my next wave.
I hear you. before we wrap up, is there anything else you want to share?
No, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate the time. And like I said, seeing you grow. So I'm trying to...
Business is calling. So
it's time. I appreciate the time though, man. And yeah. Anytime we could go again.
All right, man. I appreciate you. Thanks for coming or being here.
All right. Peace.